Alright guys, so over on the JP version of the game, we have a Sakura face going up on a rate up. Unfortunately, it's not the Sakura face that a lot of us were expecting. See, in the Paper Moon Ordeal called chapter release, we actually saw, I believe her name is Durga, and she's also under the Sakura face that a lot of us, including myself, was really hyped for, but they for some reason did not throw her up on rate up. Instead, they gave us Kama, which I'm not going to complain about. Granted, I already have her on JP, but she's one of those servants that just for some reason gets better and just like stays consistently like this really OP servant that a lot of people probably should have. So I'm not mad about her going on rate up for all these other masters. It's just kind of weird because overall I'm starting to get this feeling that the initial release, this initial wave for Ordeal Call, is kind of mid, and I'll kind of explain that as we start getting into this video. But before we begin, if you've not already, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, follow my Twitch down in the description down below. All that good YouTuber intro stuff aside, the reason I think this has been kind of a little bit mid is that I'm kind of going through all of the things that we got here. And now the pre-release campaign, I think, was really gas. It brought Kukulkan back, you know, and that's really cool because she's a very strong servant. Nido Chris Alter is kind of cool that they brought her back. It's just the reason I'm not as excited for it is that Nido Chris Alter is on every single banner. She's not limited. Technically, when it comes to, like, let's say the next anniversary, if they give us another 5-star ticket, they let us pick another free 5-star servant, you should be able to pick someone like Nido Chris Alter, and she'd be a very good farmer for most people, right? She's just generically a very strong servant, right? She just got all this good stuff going for her. But Kukulkan coming back, that's really cool, but there was no buffs or anything that came with this over here, which I get that these three probably don't need buffs. They literally just came out 6 months ago, but no other buffs for anybody else was a little bit weird. And then we got the actual main summoning campaign, and we got the actual main chapter release over here. Now, I think Bhima and Duryodhana are really cool. I've been looking into a little bit of their lore from like the Mahabharata and things, and these guys both seem real dope. Like, this is the leader for the Karna faction, and this is Arjuna's older brother. Like, these guys are absolutely sick, and I absolutely like would love to summon them, but I was kind of expecting to get this second Sakura face that was going to come out for the second banner, but then we didn't get that. And then you also notice they didn't really drop anything new over here. Like, the new CEs I think are absolute bangers, but it just seems like nothing extra related is really happening. So why are we getting all these new CEs? And they didn't drop any new buffs for anybody, because I saw this was kind of like the last straw for people. This one over here, when they dropped the Kama banner and then they didn't drop any buffs for not only just her, because I don't think Kama needs a buff to be frank, but you bring these two goofy goobers on rate up and you don't even try to give them anything, because if there is any servants that are on their knees praying for a buff, it's people like these two guys over here who just are complete nothing burger servants that like they have absolutely no use for. I mean, this guy had a bit of a use early on if you had like a max scope in like year 1 and you wanted to do quick farming because his animation was so fast, right? And when I say quick farming, I mean like literally the animation speed wise, right? Because if you wanted to clear things faster, you could use people like him. Eric Bloodaxe also had a very quick NP animation. And so if you were super Wayland, these guys were kind of good, but that is like such a random niche use that no one has like probably used these guys for. Like, there's probably like 2 whales that have ever done something like that. It's just like one of the random things they could have been used for. But I cannot lie that if Kama got a buff, while it's not needed, it would have been really hype, because I still think, and I was actually having this discussion with my friend earlier today, I think that a lot of these assassins would feel a lot stronger if Kama actually didn't exist. I think Kama's existence in the assassin class makes all of the other assassins around her just feel so much worse. Now, King Hassan definitely got a lot better after his most recent buff, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? Like, Kama just feels head and shoulders better than like all of the other assassins. She just feels so unrivaled by all these other people. So all that to say, I don't think she really needed a buff, but man, that would have been really cool. Like, who would have loved to wake up this morning and then saw that like Kama got like an NP buff over here, right? That also, I don't know, gave her a special damage mod against like, I don't know, something related to her event in Oku. I don't know, like, because she already has the special damage mod against alter egos, so I guess that wouldn't really matter at all there. I don't know, good alignment servants. I don't know. The damage mod against beast wouldn't be very good. But someone in the comments below can get creative. What do you think Kama would have as like a special damage mod? But all I'm saying is that would be really gas. Again, not that she needs it, but it would be really, really crazy. But then it just kind of nothing dropped. It's just a banner. And I'm like, come on, Lisango. I'm trying to have a lot of faith in you right now. I'm trying to hope that you guys can do a lot of gas things because, dude, that FGO Arcade collaboration event, let me tell you guys, my NA players, when that drops on NA, that is like one of the best events I've ever read in my entire life. It is so gas. I thought it was like a really, really good event that they put out. And then now it's kind of like middling, right? Like, you know, I'm kind of thinking that some of the stuff in Ordeal Call is kind of cool, but I'm not really seeing a whole lot of other people talk about it, right? You know, so it's kind of leading me to believe that people are like, all right, let's get this first one out of the way, right? Let's get these guys out of here, and then let's get the lady servant, right? Because I know a lot of people were losing their minds for whatever you want to call her, sucker lady. I don't think we actually have a name for her yet, but you guys know who I'm talking about. I think people are ready and waiting for that more so than this first chapter over here. So I think, I don't know, that you would think a company would understand what servants the fan base is kind of hyped for. And so if they know that like people are not as gassed for like this first initial banner, then I can understand them putting Kama on rate up because Kama's super popular. But you'd think you'd try to gas things up a little bit by maybe throwing in some servant buffs. And I get that this is technically like an update over here, like going ahead and adding the extra 2 over here thing, right? And you're like, oh, we're adding new Ascension material. That's crazy. But I don't think it's enough, right? I don't think this is like nearly as gas as if, I don't know, you were to give someone like Kama, again, like some type of buff in any way. I don't know really what they would do because all of her skills are really, really strong. And like, sure, you could say that they have like, I don't know, maybe basic effects to them, or there's like realistically only like 2 effects per skill over here. This one's chock full of different effects, but realistically, all of them are just good enough to get the job done at this point, or more than good enough, actually. So it's kind of hard to buff her. She kind of has the whole Gilgamesh idea, where I say that Gilgamesh is like a really, really strong servant, but it's hard to kind of buff him because if you give him a buff, he becomes really dummy nutty good, and they gave him a buff for like New Year's and he became really dummy nutty good. He became way just really OP. I was gonna say way better than all the other Buster AoE archers, but I don't know if I want to make that claim. I had to stop myself there for a second. I was like, I don't know if I want to make that claim yet. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, because while I think that Ordeal Call is definitely shaping up to be very interesting for, say, like the FGO story and everything, I think it's really cool. I just kind of feel like the Paper Moon release has kind of been a flop. Well, not a flop, but you know what I'm saying? Like, not super gas. And maybe it's a thing where like us over here on the West, because stuff like the Mahabharata is like not as big for us over here as it is for them in the East. Maybe that's why for us it doesn't feel as gas, but maybe for them, they're like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. I don't really know, and I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Also, just as a fun thought experiment, if you were to give Kama any type of buff, what would you give her? I think the easiest thing to do is just like buff the NP and barely change it. Be like, oh, here's a damage mod or something, because I don't really think you could touch a lot of these other skills without like really making her stupid broken. Because even the 20% crit damage, dude, Kama's crits are fine. Like, I've never really been complaining about Kama's crits with 20%, nor have I, like, in the same way, complained about Morgan's crits with only a 30% crit damage buff, right? For some reason, it's such a small crit buff, but it just does more than enough. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on all that in the comments down below. And with that being said, I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace, light, guys.